Hello, NFL fans, and welcome to ATP Extra, your source for NFL information outside, of course, our Twitter page and our radio show. Today we have a really interesting topic to go over, that being our New York NFL teams really that good. Before I start this episode, remember, follow us on Twitter at Around the Pylons, like us on Facebook at Around the Pylons, and listen to our radio show every Sunday morning from 10 to 12 on 88.9 WNYO. Studio New York. You can get that online as well. Listen to us live. It's a great show. We put up a lot of stuff, and it's kind of funny, too. Now that I'm done with that shameless advertising, it is time to get down to the real issue here, that being, are New York's football teams really that good? Now, looking at the record, most people would say, yeah, they're doing okay. The Jets are 3-1, the Bills are 3-2, and the Giants are also 3-2. But get a little bit more in depth, and you'll see that maybe these teams aren't as good as their records reflect. Sure, they're all above 500, but the ease of schedule for maybe all three of these teams says a lot about them. Let's start with the New York Jets. The Jets have currently won against the Colts, the Dolphins, and the Browns. Now, most Jets fans will look at that and say, hey, that's pretty good. You know, we've got 3 wins. We've only got 1 loss against the Eagles. What could possibly be wrong with that? To which I say, my God, you basically beat up 3 underperforming teams this year. Now, granted, Indianapolis has made a comeback, but early on they were doing very poorly. Looking at the next several weeks, the Jets don't really play any difficult opponents. They're playing teams like the Titans, the Texans, the Jaguars, the Redskins. So, although the record at this point might reflect that they are a quote-unquote good team, if you put them up against a formidable team, they're going to crumble pretty quick. This moves us to the New York Football Giants, who had a big win last night over the 49ers, if you can consider a win over the 49ers that big. Now, once again, looking at the Giants' schedule, it's surprisingly easy. The only 3 teams that really are of any merit that they play are the New England Patriots, the Panthers, and maybe Minnesota, if you count Minnesota as a really good team. So, looking at that, very similar to the Jets' schedule. I mean, they do have a cakewalk, and the fact that I can almost guarantee that they win the next 3 weeks. The next 3 weeks, I believe they play the Cowboys, the Saints, and the Eagles. So really, are they really that good? However, I will give the Giants more credit based on the fact that Eli Manning has performed to a large part without OBJ and without Victor Cruz. So that gives them a little bit more merit than the Jets in this case, and Eli Manning has certainly improved since last season. This finally brings us to the Buffalo Bills, and remember, nobody circles the wagons quite like the Buffalo Bills, which has been surprisingly true this season as they've gone win, loss, win, loss, win. Yes. I don't know what's going on with the Buffalo Bills right now. The first week, they looked really good against Indianapolis. They lost the second week against the Patriots, and then just going on from there, they've just looked mediocre at best. Tyrod Taylor was supposed to be the starting QB based on the fact that he was the best. But the last 2 weeks, he hasn't really looked it. Going up against the Titans, he barely broke 100 yards, and while his 74 yards rushing did essentially seal the win for the Bills, all this comes in the second half. The Bills have been atrocious in the first half, partially due to injuries and Rex Ryan, of course. If anything, you'd expect the Bills' elite defense to help them out, and to a certain extent, they have. Certainly, last game against the Titans, they were very influential in deciding that game. But other than that, they're ranked in the 20s as far as overall defense is concerned. They haven't been that consistent. They haven't been getting the sacks that they used to get in the past with Jerry Hughes, Mario Williams, Kyle Williams. So this team just, battered by injuries, battered by inconsistency, battered by poor play calling, in my opinion. It's going to be a long season. That's going to wrap it up for this edition of ATP Extra. I'm your host, Mike Taylor, and once again, remember to follow us on Twitter at Around the Pylons, like us on Facebook at Around the Pylons, and of course, listen to our radio show 10 to 12 every Sunday morning on 88.9 WNYO. See ya.